Hey everybody, how's it going? Griff Hamlin here from Blues Guitar Unleashed. I want to do a quick little video for you today. This isn't going to be super fancy or super long, but I want to talk about something that is it's a subtle thing, but it's a really important thing, and it's the sort of thing that kind of separates the men from the boys, for lack of a better word. It's one of those details, and it has to do with the way that you approach from your right hand when you pick. Okay, so let's say that I'm just playing something simple, like my A minor pentatonic scale. And I have some overdrive on the tone specifically to sort of show you the sympathetic vibration. In other words, notice that if I approach this the way a beginner will typically approach this sort of thing, which is I'm going to not touch anything, okay? So notice that if I play the scale, notice how much is still ringing right now, okay? That's because of the sympathetic vibrations, right? Anytime I pluck one string, it's going to resonate throughout the entire guitar, which is likely going to make other strings ring. Now, with a clean guitar tone, you won't always necessarily notice that, although you might. I definitely hear it if the volume is fairly substantial. But you will most definitely hear it if you have a little overdrive on the tone. And a lot of us tend to play with a little overdrive on the tone. So it becomes a big mess really quickly. You know, if you're playing something like... there's all that extra stuff, okay? We don't want that extra stuff, okay? We want to get rid of that. So the trick here is in the right hand muting, right? So you may notice if I were just playing my minor pentatonic scale, right? Good old box one that we play all the time. You're never going to hear my low strings. You're almost never going to hear at least the lowest two strings, and oftentimes even the D string. You will never hear those sound without at least a little bit of mute going on from the palm of my right hand. Okay, so I don't approach the guitar, I'll say, from a hands off like a beginner will. As you get more advanced, you want to approach it from all hands on deck all the time. I want no sound coming out of this thing unless I specifically ask for a sound. I want to control every aspect of the sound, and this is how we do that. Okay, so when I strike that low A, I don't let it completely just ring out. There's always at least a little bit of mute, even if it's subtle. And you hear it's not a lot. It's not like I'm, you know, totally killing it. And the way I do that is by being backed by the bridge. The closer that you get to the bridge, the less mute you have. And you can also adjust your height, right? If I just barely touch it, and I'm kind of using my pinky to get my hand closer or further away from the strings. So right now, I just barely feel that ringing under my palm, but I do feel it. Now, by the time I get here, I'm obviously not muting anymore, but notice that these are dead. That's because the palm is there, right? In fact, it's actually part of my thumb and my palm is all on those lower strings. And by the time I get to the top, if I let go, there's no sound, right? If I do it the old way, there's a lot of sound. If I drag that hand across, there's no extra sound. None at all. And the best way to practice this, you know, start with a low note. You kind of want to experiment a little bit, but you want to, you know, kind of figure out where's that sweet spot for your right hand. As you go farther back, right, there's no mute. As I start to get on the bridge, cool. But then the tone starts to go away entirely. So that's too far. And, you know, depending on whether you're, you know, some people play with a more closed fist. so that's going to make a difference. Some people, you know, spread out the fingers but don't touch the guitar, so that's going to make a difference. Some people rest like this, so that's going to make a difference. It's one of those things that obviously, you know, you have to sort of work out for yourself and figure out, okay, what's a comfortable way for me to do this and still execute it. But man, it makes a difference. And I swear, if you go and you listen to professional players, when they play low notes, you very rarely hear with no muting. You would hear with just a touch of muting. It's often subtle. It may not always be obvious, but it's often there. Country pickers also are huge with this. You never hear those boomy, you know, we don't want that big booming low end. We want everything under control. And that's your goal, okay? So, very simple. All you got to do is when you practice your boxes or you practice your scales or anything like that, just try to add in that little bit of muting, and that's all it takes. It's a slam dunk. It's an easy one today. So I hope you enjoyed it. As always, if you are interested in more about Blues Guitar Unleashed, you can go to bluesguitarunleashed.com. You can check out the All Access Pass at gobgu.com/allaccess. You can download, you can get yourself on my email list at gobgu.com/thelist. That's probably all I need to tell you about. So have a great day, everybody, and I will talk to you soon.